Pelican Rest announcer Jim Wise will have the starting lineups as we take a look at the Portland Trailblazers for the first and only time here at the Spectrum this season.
At one guard, his sixth season from Houston at 6'7", number 22, Clyde Drexler. Also in the backcourt, his fourth season from Wisconsin, Stevens Point at 6'3", number 30, Terry Porter. At center in his third season from Eastern Illinois at 7 feet, 00, Kevin Duckworth. At one forward in his rookie season from Seton Hall at 6'9", number 2, Mark Bryant. And at the other forward in his fifth season from Longwood at 6'7", number 25, Jerome Hersey. The Trailblazers are coached by Mike Schuler. His assistants are Rick Edelman, Maurice Lucas, Jack Shalau, and John Wetzel. The trainer is Mike Sheminsky. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your Philadelphia 76ers. Ladies and gentlemen, before the 76ers starters tonight, we do have a new player to introduce to you. In his third season from Arkansas Little Rock at 6 feet 6 inches, let's greet number 8, Pete Myers. Tonight's starters, at one guard, his third season from Georgetown at 6'5", number 25, David Wingate. Also in the backcourt, his rookie season from Bradley at 6'3", number 33, the Hawk, Hersey Hawkins. At center, in his ninth season from Duke University at 6'11", number 42, Mike Sheminsky. At one forward, in his fifth season from Fresno State at 6'7", number 20, Ron Anderson. And at the other forward, in his fifth season from Auburn at 6'6", number 34, Charles Barkley. 76ers are coached by Jim Lynam. His assistant is Fred Carter. The trainer is Al Domenico. The officials for tonight's game: number 18, Mr. Ed Middleton. Number 40, Mr. Mike Lauerman. And number 51, Mr. Louis Griot.
Matt, you can't help but notice that this is a very small Sixer team going to be sent out there tonight, and also the spotlight on David Wingate, who will have to run the show from the point guard position.
Jim, I actually thought they're a little bit taller with David Wingate starting in the backcourt in place of Maurice Cheeks at 6'5". We should really see a track meet here. The Blazers like to get out and push it and run. Of course, they played last night in Milwaukee. Had to get up early, but there are a lot of people in their starting lineup are very young, and they are committed to that style of play. And they're also a team that causes a lot of turnovers. So with David Wingate in the lineup and Maurice Cheeks out at the beginning, you would figure that the 76ers ball handling efficiency won't be what it normally is. So you have to be very careful that if you're going to run up and down, make sure that you handle the ball and get good shots and at least try to trade baskets earlier. Then the advantage goes to the Sixers in the second period because the bench of Portland has been awful.
The Trailblazers coming off a defeat last night in Milwaukee. They played very poorly in the first half of that game and then made a big run at the end and came up on the short side. They have not been doing well on the road. 1-5 so far coming into this one. Here is Duckworth and Sheminsky, and the Sixers have it. Wingate will be guarded by Porter. Terry Porter, who we talked about from University of Wisconsin, Stevens Point. Ron Anderson will take the first shot. It's in and out and back in and back out, and here come the Blazers running. They'll have rookie Mark Bryant in the game. He's number 2. Now they clear aside and really spread out for Drexler, who has it down low. Drexler on the fadeaway doesn't get it.
He had a tough shooting night last night in Milwaukee and had a very bad first half. Played better in the third period and saw no action at all in the fourth quarter, nor did Terry Porter, as Mike Schuler was very upset with his starting guards.
Well, and in an auspicious beginning here, both teams missing fire, and back come the Trailblazers. They've been slowly putting this team together, adding a new commodity each year, and feel very confident that this year they can really make a legitimate run at the Lakers. Here is Duckworth, the big reason why they feel so confident. I mean big, more ways than one.
They don't like to play half-court basketball as they've had to do the last couple of times down the floor. And already we've seen 2 turnovers by the Sixers, who have been very good about taking care of the ball. Both turnovers have been of the careless variety.
Still no score.
So much for the track meet, I predict.
Wow. You don't
never fail.
You don't figure to see the Trailblazers. They might just start running whether the Sixers want to or not pretty soon here. Here is Drexler, and we have a whistle and a blocking foul away from the basket. That's going to be a personal foul on Mark Bryant. Bryant out of Seton Hall. Had an excellent career there.
And he's foul prone to begin with. He doesn't need to be picking up those kind of fouls. As is his backup, Steve Johnson.
Yep.
Nice drive.
Wingate will get the bucket, and he'll go to the line.
David was waiting for some kind of play to develop, and here he blows by one of the best defensive guards in the league, Terry Porter, and nobody in there to help out.
Our old friend Caldwell Jones is on the bench here for the Trailblazers, although he has really been on the bench the last couple of nights. Here's a steal by Barkley, and it's now ahead to Charles. He's going to take his good old time and maybe entice Bryant into a foul, but it didn't work.
Sixers going to their trap and forcing a turnover.
5-0, and Porter down the middle is grabbed and fouled by Wingate.
That last steal by a Wingate-Barkley combination in the fast break may have awakened the Trailblazers, who look like they're still asleep.
Trailblazers were sold since last season, and the price, $70 million.
To a 35-year-old computer whiz.
Yep. He must be a whiz if he's got that kind of money.
Who likes to play basketball.
That has raised some eyebrows. The price tag there has caused some owners to feel pretty good about their teams. Jaminski turns on Duckworth, and the tip-up is no good by Barkley, and the Trailblazers now move at a quicker pace. Drexler on the move, the tap, and this is Bryant with it.
Oh.
He throws it right to Barkley, who has a breakaway. Charles still trying to get that foul down there, but the Blazers will have none of it. The Sixers lead it 7-2, and Portland really looking sluggish.
Mark Bryant. They wear black uniforms with red and white trim.
Yeah, somebody
he had the wrong color there.
His valet has got the wrong town here.
Right to Charles. Ooh, that's a nice move by Kevin Duckworth, who has really not only slimmed down and improved his game, but has terrific moves inside, as does this guy.
Barkley with 6 points. Duckworth over the last 2 years has dropped 60 pounds. Here he is again, and this time a goaltending call against Barkley.
Duckworth just dips his shoulder, buries it in on Mike Jaminski, and Mike is, as they say, in jail. The guy puts his shoulder into it. There's really not much you can do. You've got to beat that guy outside the lane and hold your position there. It's a lot easier said than done, however.
Trying to run a play for Hawkins, and the breakaway to Drexler, who jams it. 9-8 now, and the Trailblazers getting right back in this thing after a very lackluster beginning.
Clyde the Glide. We saw how they turned it up a notch or two last night in Milwaukee when they were listless the whole second and early part of the third period. Then they turned the defense on and got back into the ballgame. They are an outstanding defensive team in spurts.
Trying to dish it inside to Jaminski, and the ball is poked out of bounds by Bryant. 8 minutes left to go, first quarter.
7 seconds on the shot clock. Lob to Barkley. Too far.
Charles will have to put it up, or somebody will, very quickly. Wingate with the clock ticking away, and there it goes. Somebody's got to yell at him.
Well, sure. You would expect the guard with the ball or to be aware of the shot clock. Somebody should have announced it out at the beginning of the underneath out of bounds play. But then with a couple of extra passes, everybody's got to be yelling out there to get a shot up before the buzzer.
9-8 the score. Here's an alley-ooper in there for Drexler, who goes back outside, and Porter from just inside the 3, no. Bryant the rebound, and he stuffs it home. Mark Bryant averaging 6 points a game. They will come to Steve Johnson pretty quickly, and I like to get him in off the bench, a very good offensive player.
They don't waste too much time. They usually get 2 quick fouls on Mark Bryant, and then he comes out, and there's one of them, I guess, or 2.
And the ball tossed out of bounds. So Bryant gets his 2, almost as predicted, and off the bench comes Steve Johnson. We're coaching this team.
It's like clockwork. No, it's not a matter of that. It's just that in talking to the Portland coaches, they said it's just he either picks them up in the first 2 minutes, 4 minutes, or he usually comes out at the 6-minute mark of the first period. However, he didn't do a bad job as far as keeping Charles off the offensive board. Now, Steve Johnson is also a very foul-prone individual with a world of low-post moves of his own.
Amazing. He is in his 8th year. He brought that reputation in when he got here, and he still has it. You'd think that over time he would learn some things, but still a problem for him.
Charles trying to find himself at the free throw line, had a terrible night against Los Angeles from the line, made 1 out of 2 the last time.
Duckworth selected last year as the NBA's most improved player.
Now he's one of the wealthiest.
Yeah, the Trailblazers thought so much of him, they signed him long-term, the big bucks. Here's Barkley cleaning up and taking the ball inside and drawing a foul on Drexler, another foul-prone guy. And Drexler called for the foul, and the Trailblazers will call a timeout. There is 6:49 left to go in the first quarter, and Portland leads it 12-10.
Look at if he just like flexed his knees right there. See if he gets his legs into the shot, and he doesn't. He's just putting a little bit of a knee flex in there, and he's got to get more legs into it because he's just shooting it all arm. Looks very uncomfortable. There we go.
Now it's 12-11.
And the trap by the Sixers.
Steve Johnson is number 33. There's a baseline play, and Johnson has it topside and almost loses it, and they say he travels with it.
Oh, boy.
No, it's going to be a foul call.
Oh.
Wow, I didn't see that one.
No, I didn't, nor did I. Actually, David Wingate hit the ball. It should have been no call at all. As Johnson put it on the floor, David got a piece of the ball and knocked it loose.
And that is number 2 on Wingate, where the Sixers can ill afford foul trouble. 3-on-2, Barkley ahead. Hawkins on the layup. Drexler, what a play inside, and Duckworth jams it in there. 8 points for him.
That's the tempo that both teams want, up and down, but both teams kind of, both gears aren't meshing.
13-11, or 13-14, I'm sorry. The Trailblazers ahead by that one.
Good defense here by Portland. Forces the three-point shot by David, and he gets it.
That's the last thing David wanted to do, but it gets a $76 check off to Pennock Battle of Philadelphia. Sixers lead by 2. Here is Johnson, and he's got all those low post moves.
And Charles giving away a lot of height to Steve Johnson, who stands about 6'10". Charles going to have to push him out even further. He did a decent job of pushing him out, but Johnson shot the jump hook over.
Now it's Hawkins. Jaminski gets a little bump in there, and now the ball pops loose. The Sixers can save and do. Jaminski again. Pretty good player named Jerome Hersey. As he touched the ball.
I was going to say the same thing, Jim. Darn good player. What did he score? 30 last night.
Steve Johnson.
He'll get him in bunches, though.
Banks one up. We're tied at 18. Hersey's out there, but in disguise at the moment.
That's one of the problems they're having. They got a little bit too much talent in there with Drexler and Duckworth and Hersey, Porter.
This one knocked outside to Hawkins. The Sixers getting some offensive opportunities here. Jaminski has it blocked, however. Hersey now with it, and there he goes to the glass and is fouled. Jerome Kersey, the one and only player to enter the NBA from Longwood College.
Here in some traffic, Hersey able to get control of himself and make the shot and draw the foul. Mike Jaminski is either exhausted or not feeling well. He's down at the other end of the floor, bending down as he felt he was fouled on that last play.
Longwood College down in Virginia was a girls' school until about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe a little longer than that now, and Kersey in the first male graduating class.
Second round draft choice. Everybody said, who? He has gotten better and better each year. Goes to the Summer League and plays with the Blazer rookies and free agents every year and has improved his game dramatically.
They have a little all-star tournament down in Portsmouth, Virginia at the end of each season, and there's always a diamond in the rough down there. Hawkins hits this one. Hersey was one during his years. Charles Oakley was kind of discovered there, although lots of people knew about him.
Scott Pippen.
Rebound grab by Ronnie Anderson. Anderson. Back and forth we go, 22-21, the Sixers on top.
Well, so far so good for the Sixers, as I mentioned before, is that they can trade baskets and stay with the Blazers starters in this first quarter. I think the Sixers have an advantage in the second quarter.
Duckworth is bumped. He fades out of your screen, and he'll be fouled, says Louis Grillo, one of the three officials, one of the new officials in the league.
This is when things start to go a little bit haywire for Portland. They're missing Kiki Vandeweghe, who's out with a bad back, and Jerry Seasting, who would be two key players for them off the bench because of their experience. But coming in with Richard Anderson, and they back up the guards with Craig Neal, a rookie out of Georgia Tech, and Danny Young.
Richard Anderson, a pretty good shooter for a big guy. He's 6'10". He's out of Cal Santa Barbara, and that's him guarding Ron Anderson. Scott Brooks in the game. Brooks works his way around Porter, and now they have Hawkins way outside, and Hawkins nails that one from almost three-point land. 6 points for Hawkins. Drexler under a lot of pressure there. Jaminski the rebound. Sixers get the ball moving up court in a hurry.
Pass.
Jaminski the head fake, but they're going to say he shuffled the feet. Mike can't get a call down there so far.
And Mike is getting frustrated. He feels he's getting fouled on a lot of his shots here. Gets called on shuffling his feet.
3 minutes, 4 seconds left in the first quarter. Trailblazers trailing by 2. Terry Porter with it. He'll take the shot. First field goal for Porter. He's got 4 points. Game is tied. Christian Velp getting set to give Mike Jaminski a breather. And we've got a foul as Ron Anderson backs in to low post position. He's fouled by Richard Anderson, and we have another Portland timeout. Bob Thornton comes into the game. The enforcer, he was called, back in the 76 playoffs, had a tussle with then baby Darryl Dawkins or something. Darryl didn't know what the heck to do when Luke came at him. Here's a long one by Brooks, no, and Thornton saves the ball, pops it back up. Tipped once by Barkley, and a jump ball going to be the call.
Sixers banging away on the offensive board, keeping a lot of balls alive, and that can only be good because Charles Barkley eventually will get his paws on it and generally finish it off positively.
And the Sixers will get yet another chance here. Hawkins will take it, a three-pointer, and the rebound to Anderson.
Sixers doing a good job of spacing the floor and getting wide and getting open for those three-pointers and just missing them, but they're still good shots because that's the way the Sixers want to play.
2 minutes left in the first quarter. The low post player is Johnson, but he is fouled by Thornton.
That was good execution on the part of the Blazers, something they have not been doing well with a forward screen down for forward, which is usually a switch play. But Steve Johnson getting excellent position inside, drawing the foul from Thornton, who tried to fake the charge, but Steve Johnson labors at the line.
He had been a center for a good part of his career, and defensively that was really a liability.
I'm having some kind of night, aren't I? He swished that.
I'll cover for you.
Thank you. Another swisher. Oh, well. He'll miss some before the night's over.
Book it. 26-24. Christian Belp with the ball. Usually shoots the first time he gets it, and Barkley with the rebound, and they're going to say that ball was popped out of bounds.
I guess Richard Anderson made good contact on the ball. Charles not complaining at all. Looked like there was a little bit of contact.
Caldwell Jones getting a call from the bench. He has not played in the last 2 Portland games. Coming in here now to help on that defensive board.
And they also think, of course, he's a good defensive player, does a lot of little things out on the floor that help everybody else. I think he'll help the whole chemistry as well.
There he comes across to block that ball, but a foul first, as Ed Middleton. Thornton commits a quick foul here. He's got 2.
Is that 8 turnovers for the Sixers?
6.
6.
26-24. Portland in the lead. Terry Porter just trying to maneuver Scott Brooks right out of the play. And little soft one-hander by Johnson. 8 points for Johnson.
Scott Brooks was trying to muscle Terry Porter, and that's a mistake.
Caldwell Jones guards Barkley, who throws inside and off the hands of Thornton, score another turnover for the Sixers. By and large, the Sixers have been pretty good in that category. Stay under 20 per game, you're in decent shape.
Oh, they've been excellent, really, Jim. When you consider 15 turnovers, forcing their opponent to turn it over 17 times, you got to be happy with that.
There's a Portland turnover. Scott Brooks is off to the side, and Barkley again an offensive rebound. Charles had 23 rebounds the other night against Los Angeles. He's got 6 already here. Goes up over Anderson and hits it.
Shot clock is off. 15 seconds to go in the period.
Porter will wind it down. We're at 5 seconds now. Terry Porter under the gun. The tip up by Johnson. No, and the Sixers come out of this in pretty good shape after a slow start. They trail the Portland Trailblazers 28-26.
In Portland, where it's the only game in town, and why can you have such a good season and fail in the playoffs? That they have to make the statement that they're planning to have a good playoff season when, let's face it, they're really only thinking about what they're doing that particular night.
Penn Coleman, Cliff Robinson, the walking wounded tonight, along with Mo Cheeks, who is no doubt watching at home.
Sixers shot it well in the first period, 11 for 21, 52%, and the Blazers 11 for 19, 58%.
Danny Young in the game now with the basketball.
This is where the Blazers have struggled when they get Drexler out of the game and start to go to their bench. Things start to break down. And really had trouble in second quarter.
Johnson on the hook shot. Took the ball on the floor for a couple of strides and threw in the hook. 30-26. Thornton with Richard Anderson on him. Almost throws it away. Did the Trailblazers get a piece of it? Yes, apparently they did. Now we're going to have a whistle. Now a discussion.
Well,
Did
3 of them are going to get together.
Danny Young tip the basketball? If so, then there's no such thing as a backcourt violation.
And the Trail official, Louis Grillo, the new official, he had to play all the way. He was giving the motion clearly for everybody in the building to see, including the other 2 referees, that there was a tip on the play. Now they're putting up 10 seconds on the shot clock. I don't understand that. It was 8, but I guess Ed Middleton thought there was some kind of delay, so he's going to give the Sixers 10 seconds.
This is Hawkins. They'll have to shoot it in a hurry here. Barkley. Strong to the basket, draws the foul, almost came away with the bucket, and Caldwell Jones comes up limping slightly.
Personal fouls on Caldwell Jones. His first personal foul. Portland's first team foul. Charles
This is year number 16 for Caldwell. He's got to be the second oldest player, correct?
That is correct. I think he's 37 to Kareem's 41. And really, Charles, an extremely difficult matchup for anybody. Caldwell, a good defender, and maybe in his younger days might have had a little more quickness to help him out, but right now his size and age just not able to stay with Charles Barkley when Charles is facing the basket or has his back to the basket.
This one now brings the Sixers to within 2. It's 30-28, and we have some pressure.
Full court trap by the Sixers. First time I think we've seen it this year.
Porter way off the mark. Barkley trying to beat all 4 players here for the Trailblazers, and darn near does. Here comes Portland the other way. This is Porter with it. He has Johnson ahead of him, and Thornton slaps it out of bounds. Trailblazers to inbound it underneath their own basket. Celtics are really collapsing, aren't they? 41-19 over the New Jersey Nets, who they beat last night.
They got off to a good start against the Nets last night. Nets came back and almost beat them. Turned out to be a 7-point Boston win.
Now it's 33-28. And an illegal defense to call here.
Danny Young, the guard outside, crossing over the dissected invisible line that separates the one side of the floor from the other. Once you come across there, you have to go double team the ball. He was cheating.
Just getting started here in the second quarter. Scott Brooks works on Young. Gets caught in the air, dishes it to Barkley, who somehow finds daylight between 3 Portland defenders.
That's an interesting play. Scott Brooks waved Welp out of the post area so he could take his man one-on-one.
Ends up with an assist. It's 33-30. Young from way outside is short with it. Ron Anderson, yeah, we got a tie game. Check that, 33-32. Sixers by 1. Anderson. Shot by Porter doesn't fall, and the rebound to Ron Anderson. Ron Anderson back out to Brooks. Hawkins the open man. Barkley the tip, he's got it. He just out-hustled again. The Trailblazers inside, and Mike Schuler can't believe his eyes. He calls the time. 9:03 remaining here in the first half. The Sixers ahead by 1.
Be interesting to see how many minutes Gerald can go. Normally when he's been out for a while, he does not have a very long threshold of stamina. Trapped by the Sixers. Will take the Blazers out of their set play momentarily.
Clyde Drexler back in. He has the ball in the corner. They've got Duckworth inside, Caldwell Jones and Richard Anderson on the forward spots. Duckworth will step outside and miss a little 10-footer.
Well, if you can make the Blazers play a lot of half-court basketball, this team can be had.
They are on the short end of a 1-point deficit now. The double team on Barkley. Charles will move on Caldwell, get him up in the air, and hit the jumper. 18 for Barkley.
Blazers have played some good defense on Charles to make him take about 3 perimeter jump shots, but he's made a couple of them.
Richard Anderson stolen by Barkley, and ahead here to Ron Anderson. He's got a foot race here with Drexler, and the ball knocked away, and the Sixers clearly out-hustling the Trailblazers at both ends of the floor.
I can't think of too many players are going to stand up to Clyde Drexler in a foot race. He can fly.
Woo. Chris Velp, 2 points for him, and the Sixers lead by 5, their biggest lead of the game.
10-0 run for the Sixers.
Portland goes to the ace, and Drexler fires.
That's the kind of shot you want to make him take. Keep him out on the perimeter shooting jump shots. He is not a good jump shooter.
Another player recently signed to a long-term deal. As Portland has done a pretty good job. This one swatted away, and next year the rumors are getting hot and heavy again. They're going to have that Russian Sabonis in their lineup.
They've been saying it for the last 3 or 4 years. I think this year it's going to happen.
Nice move inside by Caldwell, and he tries it again and still doesn't have it, and Barkley finally has to rebound. Oh. Hot potato time. Brooks. Gerald Henderson, no. Barkley another offensive rebound, but he had it knocked away.
How about Gerald letting fly a three-pointer, his first shot in about 3 weeks. Just spotted up at the 3 arc.
Little 22-footer that went 21 feet. This is Henderson again. Oh, nice spin move, and he goes inside to Ron Anderson. There's Charles, just is like hanging around, grabbing anything that's loose. Sometimes even the basketball. He will be back on the free throw line.
Anything loose in that lane, Charles just snatches.
Mike Jaminski getting set to come back for the Sixers.
Hersey continues to be a very quiet performer for Portland. He can't get involved at all, and generally he does get involved in the open floor or on some isolation plays.
We have him for 1 field goal attempt. This is a bump foul on Barkley as he cuts Drexler off at the baseline. The first foul for Charles. Now the Sixers will give Barkley a rest, a much-deserved one, as Jaminski comes in, and both Christian Velp and Mike Jaminski on the floor at the same time. Steve Johnson comes in for Portland for Caldwell Jones. Duckworth. Oh, he's way off the mark with that one and almost commits a foul. Ron Anderson comes out of there with it, blows right by Hersey and gets the basket. Looked like Jerome Hersey got his feet stuck in mud there as Ron Anderson just went right around him.
Made a nice move right to left to finish off that play with the left hand. Great drive by Ron Anderson on the fast break.
Sixers just working harder, and so far the dividends are paying off. 42-35. Sixers hit the road after tonight. They've got 2 in a row and play at Charlotte tomorrow night and on to Washington. Or Indiana, I'm sorry. Drexler, his patented move down the middle. He's got 6. Right back the other way, and Anderson just beat all the Trailblazers down the floor.
And also give Scott Brooks a lot of credit for sending him into the front court from the nice advance pass.
Drexler again. Duckworth put up a block down there, and you need a cab to get around him.
That's the last 2 times down the floor the Sixers inside has opened up.
Rebound to Johnson.
The Sixers got the lead by closing up the middle and forcing shots like that.
So Hersey responds. It's the first time he touched the ball in ages. He knew that was going up. 44-41. Sixers still on top. Jaminski, and almost a tap-in by Ron Anderson. There's an offensive foul, I do believe, but going up against Drexler as he hammers Chris Belt.
Not that anybody keeps a statistic on it, but there's got to be no question that Chris Welp draws more charges than any other Sixer.
There's a good picture of that one.
Yeah, he just stood in there and took a pretty hard shot from Clyde Drexler.
44-41, the Sixers with the lead and the ball.
I guess Gerald got about a 4-minute stretch.
David Wingate also getting set to come back in, and this is Belp. He's got it. 4 points. Nobody wants to bring the ball in here for Portland, and Scott Brooks steals it away from Hersey. Anderson hits it. Mike Schuler now, I think he's going out and really get after his team. He is upset, as he should be. They're really getting out-hustled here.
Steve Johnson went out with an injury is when Kevin Duckworth really became the player that, well, the most improved player in the league.
Now, Johnson missed half the season. A couple of different injuries. Anderson is short with it. Here's a Johnson pass that's intercepted by Ron Anderson. They're trying to float it way down there to Kersey. Christian Belp again. No, Jaminski keeps it hot for a moment. Now it's knocked out of bounds. The Sixers have it. .344 now, time remaining in the first half. Wingate is short with it. Drexler. Hersey that time had one hand on the ball, then lost control, and he's called for an offensive foul. That's his second.
Good defensive job by David Wingate to get in the path of Kersey and create some havoc and draw the foul. Kersey usually in the open floor, able to avoid people and slither in for some shots, unable to do it there.
And the Sixers, David Wingate has this one knocked from behind out of bounds. Barkley coming back for the Sixers. Mike Schuler, the coach, has reason to be perplexed.
He was so perplexed last night he didn't let Porter or Drexler play the whole second half, whole fourth period, I should say.
Porter on the breakaway floats up a crazy shot there, and Kersey misses from point blank. Almost missed another one, but gets this one. Now the Sixers want a timeout. Sixers had a 7-point lead. It's down to 3. There is 3:13 remaining in the half, and we'll be back after this.
Like that last time, the Blazers put up 2-3 shots, and 3 Sixers did make it back to half court.
Hawkins, Wingate, Barkley, Jaminski, and Ron Anderson. Charles goes from way outside, and a foul underneath.
Oh.
No, they're going to say that Steve Johnson came out and fouled Charles. That's a surprise. The first foul for Johnson.
Steve Johnson is complaining on the call, but for even being close to follow Charles smiling, he probably didn't foul him. But to even give the referee an opportunity to make a foul call on that is foolish.
There'll be another. That's the first half totals, believe it or not, for Charles already. Our 5-point Sixer lead. 3 minutes exactly left here in the first half.
Half-court trap by the Sixers.
Ooh, Johnson has position down underneath. That is bumped and scored.
Ron Anderson, nice move by Steve Johnson there. That's what he can do to you down low, especially when the Sixers are in kind of a zone-up defensive situation after the trap. Takes the little bump from Ron Anderson and finishes off the play. He's a tough enough player to play when you're going man-to-man and doubling down on him quickly. That time he had open spaces inside. Now, I think he's made all 5 free throws he's taken after
50-48. Jaminski backing in on Duckworth. That's tough. Now he's double teamed in there and travels with it. They triple teamed him by the time the whistle blew there.
Mike has that look on his face like, why did I get up this morning? Things just aren't going well for Mike at either end. Just a little bit out of sync.
Now the Trailblazers, down by 7 a moment ago, can tie it. Johnson, the man they're going to, but he loses the handle this time. Sixers do a job on him.
Oh,
and the Sixers turn it over themselves. That's number 11.
This Blazer team, the last 2 years, Jim, used to be a reasonably good passing game team. And by that, pass, cut, move the ball, swing it, reverse it, set some back picks. And this year, from the game I saw last night on television, and tonight, they're just not doing it.
Jerome Hersey. He's got 9 quiet points. We're tied at 50. Barkley again open, and he's got the jump shot falling for him. He's got 24 points in the first half. If he hits from outside, Portland's in loads of trouble. Here's Porter, no. Rebound, Jaminski had it, lost it. Charles has it stripped away and jammed in now by Hersey.
Charles tried to bust out of there between 3 black shirts, and Hersey able to strip it, finish off the dunk. Charles really not complaining that much. It must have been a clean play.
Tied at 52. Sixers got to get some help for Charles offensively here. Hawkins has it popped from behind. Out of bounds, though, and the Sixers with 1:10 left in the half and 9 seconds on the shot clock inbounded.
I really expected more of a high-scoring first half with these two teams involved, knowing how they want to play. For some reason, both teams generally running in mud.
Tapped up once and twice, and here comes the Trailblazers as we know them now. This is Drexler flying through the air and gets away with nothing. And the ball out of bounds, and the Sixers have it.
The reason is that, according to referee Ed Middleton, that Drexler touched that ball while he was coming from out of bounds. If he gets both feet set in bounds, then he can pick that ball up. And he tried to do that.
Hersey Hawkins got his man in the air and hits the shot. 54-52, 76ers.
Blazers with an opportunity to get 2 shots to 1 for the Sixers before the end of the first half. There's 1.
Rebound Barkley, and he floats a nice one to Wingate, who puts a fake on and leaves Drexler standing there. Clyde outthought himself there, I believe. They can steal.
Blazers holding for 1. Shot clock and game clock just about the same, maybe 1 or 2 seconds different.
Looks like they're gonna, well, they're not. They're gonna fire from outside. That's a fine play if it works. And right back the other way, and stealing 2 right back is Ron Anderson. We've got 7 seconds left in the half.
Blazers acting like they didn't know that the shot clock stops after a made basket. They didn't get back.
This is Steve Johnson. That'll count if it goes. The rebound to Barkley, another one of them for him, but a good second quarter for the 76ers. They overcome a first quarter 2-point deficit to take a 58-55 lead. Thank you, Mark. I think the Trailblazers looked over and saw Cliff Robinson and Ben Coleman in their nice 3-piece suits and no mo cheeks and felt, hey, maybe we don't have to work so hard. It seems like the Sixers are just a little difference in this game is they're just working harder.
Well, they are, and they know they're shorthanded. And David Wingate getting a start in the point position, replacing Maurice Cheeks, something that a lot of people might be a little surprised at. But Jimmy Lynam happens to think that David Wingate's future in the NBA is at that position. David is very good at putting pressure on the backcourt, and it doesn't matter what size of point guard is on the other team. He can create a lot of havoc. He can make the guy turn his dribble in the backcourt, flick the ball. He's very good at that. Actually, he's better at guarding the point guard in the backcourt than he is guarding the two guard in the half-court offense.
I think you got an example coming up here for me of that 76ers out hustling the Trailblazers.
David and Charles Barkley going to team up here on some aggressive defenses. Charles steps out, makes the man turn, and here's David getting a loose ball and sending off Charles Barkley for an easy layup. And when the Sixers are aggressive in the backcourt defensively or in that midcourt area, it seems to open up a lot of different areas. So the Sixers overall this year, Jim, have been forcing a lot of turnovers from all opponents, and it has helped their running game and their fast break game.
Well, we did a good job of making this Portland team the legitimate challengers to the Lakers, but the way they're playing defense tonight, they're going to be in some trouble if they keep it up.
Well, they're playing a very soft type of defense. As I said earlier in the broadcast, that Charles Barkley, he looks at his club, he feels that he might have to get in the 40s tonight for the Sixers to win, so he's going to take them where he can get them, and we've seen him take about 4 or 5 perimeter jump shots, and they look very good leaving his hand, and that can really help Charles's offensive output and take a little wear and tear off his particular body when instead of always having to go inside, work on the offensive board, Charles can knock down some of those little perimeter jump shots. It's easier on him.
What about the Sixer bench tonight? It's going to have to, Portland's going to take a run at you somewhere, and somebody on that bench, I think, is going to have to emerge.
Well, again, Gerald Henderson got a 4-minute stint in the first half, and that's going to, I think, help him a little bit in the second half, where at least he can go out for maybe another 4 minutes, maybe an 8-minute stretch. Scott Brooks had a very good first half, but they're going to have to get something from Welp or Bob Thornton off the bench in the front court for the Sixers, because you figure for Portland, the way they played last night, they probably think they can play the same way tonight. They're going to turn up a notch or two defensively, get their running game going, and get the pace that they want.
And let's hope Charles can keep up his pace. 24 points in the first half. The second half coming up right after this. Blazers to inbound it.
I was talking to Steve Jones very briefly in the press room as we passed by. He's the broadcaster for the Blazers. He says his team, one of the reasons why they're not playing well is because they're unhappy.
Well, Duckworth can't be unhappy, and Drexler can't be unhappy. They just signed for all kinds of millions of dollars. Did he elaborate?
No.
Jaminski makes the field goal from outside. Here's one, stolen by Hawkins. Nice play. He batted it up and then got it back, and David Wingate brings it out of trouble. Hersey Hawkins glides. No. Mark Bryant the rebound, and he's got Drexler ahead of him. Here is Duckworth, and that rattled around for a bit and finally dropped.
There again, Mike Jaminski went out a little bit on the floor to try to shut down Clyde Drexler, or at least stay in front of him, and that opened up the whole middle. Nobody protected Mike in there, neither Barkley nor Anderson, and Duckworth, Mike Jaminski's man, came right down the lane for an easy lay-in.
Hawkins again moves on Drexler and draws the foul.
Personal fouls on Clyde Drexler.
Emma Perrone from Philadelphia. You are our three-point hot shot contestant here in the third quarter.
Strong drive by Hersey Hawkins into the lane, making sure that he drew the personal foul on the play. Talking about the great games that Charles had and Magic Johnson had the other night on Monday night against the Lakers, Hersey Hawkins had his best game of the year, at least statistically.
Set a career high, 28 points. Bryant. And the little soft hook shot by Mark Bryant.
Well, he really came on strong at the end of last year for P.J. Carlissimo's Seton Hall ball club as they finished nicely in the Big East.
Yeah, nobody wanted them coming down the stretch. They really had it cooking.
Nice pass and nice cut.
And the Trailblazers looking at their sneakers that time, and Sixers sneak a goal home. Here is Duckworth, pumps once and twice and comes out of it with nothing. Hawkins again, glides by the Clyde to glide, watched another guy glide by.
Drexler with 3 personal fouls, didn't want to get his 4th there. That would put him on the bench. And
66-61. Kevin Duckworth again, now they go outside.
Good defense by Wingate to double team, get back and close down Porter.
Rebound is loose, now a foul. There'll be a grab foul in there as Drexler got his own rebound. Ed Middleton the call.
Personal foul on Charles Barkley.
Barkley commits his second.
A lot of people out west are saying that Drexler, who they see him all the time, say he has Michael Jordan type ability. They're not comparing him to Michael Jordan, but that type of ability. The only thing keeping him from being considered a great player in this league is his failure to perform well in the playoffs.
Yeah, he really went underground when they got blown out by Utah last year in the first round. Drexler shot with, I think, something like 30-some%. 66-63.
Jim, if he's not operating in the open floor, he is a suspect with his jump shot.
Second half action just beginning. The pace has been uncharacteristically slow for both teams. Hawkins is clobbered in there as Jerome Hersey got hung up in the air. He commits his third foul. It just doesn't seem like the Trailblazers are mentally with it. I mean, there's a mistake by Hersey that you're taught in 5th grade.
Again, and this is a good defensive ball club who have been together 2 or 3 years and have won in the neighborhood of 50 games a season. So they know what it takes to win, not only at home where they have a great home court advantage at the Portland Coliseum, but they're a good road team. But I guess that's a little bit deceiving. When you look at all the teams they beat on the road last year, they were the under 500 teams and do have trouble against the better teams in the league. And that's the way it should be, I guess.
9:05 left to go in the third.
Half-court Sixer trap.
Mark Bryant will miss. Barkley another board, and here come the Sixers on a semi-break. And this one knocked out of bounds. I thought for a moment Charles was going to launch that one, an out-of-control jumper, but actually it was a pass inside to Chiminski, knocked away.
Charles is doing that a number of times tonight, jumping in the air and then deciding what he can do. Great athlete can pull that off.
There's the old pick and roll, and Mike Chiminski on the nice feed from David Wingate. (70-63). Duckworth has that little spin move and a foul call. Wingate commits his third.
David complains on the play, but he's doing a good job of doubling, faking the double on Duckworth, getting back to his man and keeping him from penetrating. David showing a lot of poise.
Drexler, no. Chiminski and Duckworth in a battle for the ball, and as you watched us through the first half, the ball just not bouncing right for Mike Chiminski. We have Drexler shooting now 4 out of 11. This is Duckworth. That was a long hook shot for him, but a fine rebound by Drexler that doesn't go in, and Chiminski comes away with it, and there's going to be a loose ball foul on the Trailblazers. Kevin Duckworth will commit only his first foul. Drexler's really frustrated in there.
We had a very poor shooting night last night, played out of control in the second period, played much better in the third quarter, but then found a seat on the bench for the whole fourth quarter as the game was very, very close. They're two starting guards, two of the best in the league, Porter and Drexler, sitting on the bench the whole fourth quarter.
Hersey Hawkins. And the alley-oop to Drexler. He gets it anyway. The ball thrown away from him and a timeout called by Mike Schuler. Well, let's hope the alarm doesn't go off for these guys. Here's Hersey, and he, on the fly, nails that one.
And that was not an easy shot against the Sixers trap. A running, jumping one-hander.
He's got 13. David Wingate with the ball as the Sixers have Charles Barkley posted up low with the rookie Mark Bryant on him. Here it is. Ooh. Spin one and up and no good, and Mark Bryant's looking around. The guy I was guarding was here a moment ago.
That's tough for a 7, 8, 9-year veteran to guard Charles in that setting, let alone a 6'10" big body rookie. Just because Charles is 6'4.5" and wide doesn't mean he's slow by any means. .25 points now. That's the first
point here in the second half as 7:16 remains in the third.
Well, Charles has settled down at the free throw line. They're missing his first couple.
Hersey has it. Terry Porter, nice little move, goes to the left hand. Porter gives Wingate enough room out there, that's for sure. Jaminski is going to be short. The tip in is no good by Ron Anderson, and now a break by Portland. And it's Porter again. Porter has 13 points. 2 breakaway buckets here in a row. 74-69.
They can get him in bunches, especially when the pace picks up. With Hersey, Drexler, and Porter, 3 guys that can really take it to the hole.
And Bryant, frustrated, throws a hand up in anger as he is called for coming over the top, trying to prevent that pass.
Well, Mike Schuler has a number of people in that position, so he doesn't really mind these kinds of personal fouls. He's got Bryant, he's got Steve Johnson, Caldwell Jones behind him. Well, he minds that foul since that puts them over the limit in the penalty and puts the Sixers on the line.
The way Charles is going, he's going to be, if not the league leader, right there with them for free throw attempts when this season's over.
Well, he was last season by a wide margin, correct?
Yep.
Leader in offensive rebounds. Always up there in field goal percentage and scoring. Should be 1, 2, 3 in rebounding right in that area.
He is there already so far. He had big numbers against the Lakers. Another big night cooking so far. Hersey dribbled himself right out of the play.
Huh. I guess you got to give a lot of credit to Ron Anderson also for bottling up Jerome Kersey.
On offense, Kersey is guarding Anderson, and he gets screened away by Jaminski, and that is an offensive foul, a block there by Mike Jaminski.
On the pick and roll, Mike started to roll too soon and ran right into Jerome Kersey.
Duckworth has it out high. Kersey low, Barkley on him, and Jerome Kersey turns around and fires. He's got 15, right around his average. The alley-oop now as Bryant tried to front Barkley that time, and the Sixers.
Good ball movement outside by the Sixers up top to Jaminski, who tried that lob pass into Charles, and even though it didn't work, it's good to try to make that play when you have Barkley working inside like that.
Nice pass, Wingate.
Oh, gee.
But great block by
Kersey. Oh, nice pass.
Here he is at the other end. Now we're seeing what the Trailblazers are all about. Just great moves end to end. 76-73.
Mike Jaminski looked like he was in clean for the jam, two-handed, and Kersey got it and finished it off at the other end.
Wingate's going to take it himself this time, and he gets the basket and it's foul.
The high pick by Jaminski was what sets David Wingate into that little open area there, and a little bit too much quickness for Kevin Duckworth to do anything about it. He goes by him easily enough, and Mark Bryant a second too late to get over.
Duckworth will come out now, and Steve Johnson in at the center position. Bryant and Barkley leaning all over one another there for that loose ball. Wow, tough shot there by Drexler, and the tip in. Kersey from out of nowhere. He's getting fired out. He hasn't been on the ground for about the last minute and a half.
I don't know how he avoided contact with Ron Anderson. He almost jumped over his head and was almost parallel with the floor when he slapped that ball into the basket.
He's going to have to come down and refuel pretty soon. Here's Wingate. Good penetration there, and he is fouled. Bryant now with 4.
Well, this play is made for David Wingate, and he's getting this little opening off a little bit of a bump. The Blazers are defending this terribly. And that little open space for David Wingate, and he's taking advantage of it. And David's a much better player from the top of the floor, center of the basket area, than he is on the wings. Seems to be more comfortable driving down the lane than to the baselines or to the middle from the wing.
Body English that one home. Maybe out of necessity, we can find the place in the role for David Wingate here. He's got 12 points. In the air is Hersey, and that time he is called for an offensive foul. He's got 4.
Well, he didn't fool around. He just put his head down and drove to the basket. He didn't care if anybody got in front. He's just trying to make things happen right now.
Well, he's going to watch things happen now as here comes Richard Anderson in. Hersey has a few words for Mike Lauerman. Sixers lead by 5. Wingate moving on Johnson, tries to throw it out, can't get anybody, and now comes Porter with it. The trailer is Mark Bryant. 10 points for Bryant. As badly as the Trailblazers are playing, they're only down by 3.
And they seem to be capitalizing on the Sixers' mistakes right now. Welp is going to come in, no doubt, for Jaminski, who's struggling.
Barkley, the offensive rebound, and there is a bucket and another foul on Bryant. And the rookie going to school here. He's got 5 fouls now. They're going to put Caldwell Jones back in.
Charles kind of flailing his body there to make sure he took a bump, and then still able to take it to the other side of the rim and spin it off.
A weird rebound, and it results in a Hersey Hawkins basket.
That did take a funny bounce. Steve Johnson had no chance as he was attempting to box out Hersey Hawkins, but it just bounced out, and Hawkins' quickness got him to the ball, and then quickness beat Johnson to the basket.
84-77. Richard Anderson. Drexler found some room and then went up left-handed.
This will be interesting to watch the Blazers now. They have 3 non-scorers out on the floor. Danny Young, Caldwell Jones, and Richard Anderson. And, of course, the 2 guys who like to put it up, Steve Johnson and Clyde Drexler.
Velp almost traveled with it. Barkley has it again. He is fouled again, and the show goes on. Charles now with 32 points, a chance for another one, and all kinds of rebounds as well. He's got 16 of those.
Actually, Welp got robbed. His shot was goaltended. It was hit on the way down.
(87-79). Sixers pull away a bit. This one is a reach-in foul by Chris Belp.
Personal fouls on Chris Belp. His first personal, team third.
So the Sixers can afford now to double team Steve Johnson every time he catches inside and really not worry too much about the outside shooting of the rest of the Blazers.
Well, here goes one from outside. It rims and comes out. That was Drexler. Barkley another rebound. Now Hersey Hawkins with it. And Hersey loses, trying to get it into Barkley. Drexler flying by 1 man, 2 men, and he is fouled this time. Drexler shooting 5 out of 16. He won't get credit for a miss there as he's fouled. The Sixers are going to take time. 2:34 left to go in the third. Sixers will visit the Charlotte Coliseum, a brand new facility, tomorrow night. For the first time, Drexler makes.
They've been selling out with regularity, 23,000 plus.
They have embraced the Hornets.
They said that was a happening last night when Charlotte played Miami. Hard to believe.
Folks are beginning to compare the Heat with one of our favorite Sixer teams of yesteryear. Barkley on the drive. He's got 2 men beat, and he has just taken whoever wants him into the bucket, draws the foul, and goes to the line, and generally has made the shot. This one is on Caldwell Jones. They're not doing a very good job helping out on the defender either.
You would, again, this is a little bit of a different kind of game, though, for Charles. All the tapes that the Portland coaches have been watching, Charles has done his damage primarily on the offensive board, which he's still doing tonight with 8 offensive rebounds. And some post-up things, but Charles has gone out on the wing a little bit more tonight, getting the ball, making some jump shots, and playing some one-on-one from there, so it's a little bit different, and they don't seem really prepared to double-team him out there. Now, the Blazers, of course, have had no time to prepare, having played last night in Milwaukee.
Danny Young in the backcourt. He's out of Wake Forest. He's been up and down, played in the CBA. 5th year in the NBA officially. Here's the hook shot by Johnson. Tough shot for him. He's got 17 points. Scotty Brooks fades away and uses the glass. No. This is Young with it. Young loses. And they say it was knocked away from him.
Last year they had Michael Holton in that position playing the backup guard, and then when they acquired Jerry Seasting for Jim Paxson, they were much stronger and deeper at the guard position.
Stolen away off the hands of, now the head to Brooks, and we got a, what have we here? We got a whistle.
Offensive foul on Scott Brooks, and a bad call by Mike Lowerman, because the defender has to give Scott Brooks a chance to take a step, and he didn't do that.
Yep.
I don't think.
I don't believe so either.
No, he didn't.
No, did not.
Mike has missed a call or two in his life. But we all have.
Here is Hawkins.
That's a great play. Nice pass from Scott Brooks to the cutting Hersey Hawkins.
Danny Young, no. Rebound over the top, Johnson, and he gets it to trickle down for him. If you were wise, you would be very complimentary, see, of every official. And then word would get back that you're really a good guy.
I thought I've been that. I used to be that before and didn't do any good.
Next year you get all the calls.
Oh, sure.
Velp. No, Christian Velp, his own rebound. 92-85.
Well, Chris Welp has quietly but effectively really done his job coming off the bench for the Sixers.
Anderson thought about it. Now goes to Johnson, who's been supplying most of the offense. And now a push foul as Barkley had the position. Somebody just muscled him out of bounds. Drexler commits the foul.
That is his 4th personal foul.
Drexler has 4, and they're starting to pick them up. Hersey has 4, Bryant with 5, Caldwell Jones with 4. And Charles is spending a lot of time these days living on the line.
The Blazers are playing like a team like, well, we can turn it on anytime we want to. We did it last night in Milwaukee, although they lost the ball game, but they did turn it up in the 4th period. But you kind of get the feeling that that's not going to happen all the time, where you can just hit the button and good things happen.
They trail rather by 8, and they'll use up most of the clock. There's about a 3-second difference between the 24-second clock and the Regular clock. Here's a Steve Johnson turnaround and an offensive foul as he takes Christian Velp to the floor. So Johnson out of control there.
And again, Welp taking another charge.
3 seconds left. 3-point shot, Barkley. That might have got partially deflected by Jones. To no avail, it falls short. And at the end of 3, the Sixers continue to lead. Here we go, the final 12. Chris Velp is in the game along with Scott Brooks, Ron Anderson, Bob Thornton, and Hersey Hawkins. Our 3-point contestant, Jack Callahan from Montoursville, Pennsylvania. Richard Anderson guarding Ron Anderson. Ron Anderson floats away and gets an open shot, a good one. Couldn't hold it though, and Mark Bryant the rebound. Here's Velp near steal, and boy, he takes a tumble. Well, he lugs that about a 4-pound cast around and takes him a little while to get started there.
A terrible pass, cross-court pass out way on the floor by Danny Young. And Terry Porter couldn't believe no foul was called.
Here's Hawkins on the spin move, and he lost his man. 24 for Hawkins, who's starting to put some consistency now into his game. Offensively, for sure. Here's the swing to Young. That one clanks off. Here comes that Hawkins out. How about this?
Danny Young continues to really hurt the Blazers with some bad passes, some bad shots, and Sixers taking advantage of it. Hersey Hawkins in the open floor for the Dazzler.
He's getting some layups tonight. He's 11 for 15. There's Anderson way outside. Hawkins just takes that away from Steve Johnson.
Big guy putting it on the floor in the lane. Great play by Hersey to come in and take it.
Hawkins almost nails another one here. 10:30 left to go in the game.
Rook has taken over.
76ers lead it by 12. This is Terry Porter. Porter with 15. 10-point Sixer lead. And a block foul on Ron Anderson.
His third personal foul. For the Blazers, Jerome Hersey returns for Richard Anderson.
Hersey's back in. He gave them what spark they've had tonight in a little run here in the third quarter. Hersey, number 25, though, does have 4 fouls. Pacers acting like they've got the 10-point lead here. There's the shot put up and grabbed now by Hawkins.
Nice.
Brooks to Thornton, and he was pounded in there. And the whistle, I thought, came a little late.
Again, Scott Brooks with his penetration, forcing the defense to come to him and finding Bob Thornton open in on the right side. And Mark Bryant, the rookie out of Seton Hall, has picked up his 6th personal foul.
Bryant to the bench. That's him. Kevin Duckworth comes back in the game.
This is the second of 6 road games for the Blazers. I know they have the Miami Heat sandwiched in there right around. They play the Atlanta Hawks coming up back-to-back. And they got another back-to-back series before it's over. 6 games in 10 days.
Nine minutes, 35 seconds left. Trying to get Duckworth the ball. Gerald Henderson. And the ball drops through for basket was 12 games in coming. Hersey fires up. Jerome Hersey now with 19. Here's Gerald Henderson once again, and he's put 2 in a row.
Scott Brooks again forcing the action, getting the ball to the open man on the wing.
The Trailblazers call a timeout.
How tired Gerald is, give you an idea how tough this game is. Here's a guy who takes excellent care of himself, and how hard it is to miss a week or two and be able to go out there and run effectively.
Neal goes to Duckworth. Duckworth goes to the basket and gets one. He's been relatively quiet. 13 points for him. 103-91. Gerald had the open shot but couldn't get a good grip on the ball. Took an extra step.
He caught it on his hip. But good execution by the Sixers as they just kind of flowed right into that set play.
Craig Neal was at Georgia Tech and took over the job when Mark Price graduated and went into the Pro League. Now Neal, a part of the NBA. Hersey down the lane. The ball stripped away, but a foul.
Personal fouls on Bob Thornton. It's his 3rd personal foul. Sixers' first team foul.
Thornton has 3. That one drifted right out of range.
Be interested to see if Coach Mike Schuler of the Blazers comes back at all with Drexler. I think he's trying to send a message to his team. You know, he's going down the bench now to Drexler. But I think he's like letting some things go and letting things happen. So this team, who's primarily a veteran club, does something to come together.
Here's a behind the back pass to Henderson. It's knocked out of bounds. Drexler is coming in now.
Replacing Terry Porter. There's 5 seconds on the 24-second clock. 5 seconds.
Shot clock a factor here. Barkley somebody will have to throw it up, and there's a second 24-second violation of the game for the 76ers.
But good defense by the Blazers prevented that time. The Sixers were aware of the clock. Charles just couldn't get that shot off as Steve Johnson prevented him from taking the long jump shot.
Neal with it to Duckworth, and that was probably a good foul. Chris Velp, whether he likes it or not, probably saved 2 easy points there as Duckworth had a clear lane to the basket.
And he still shot that ball as he was landing on the seat of his pants.
Neal to Duckworth again. Duckworth's little fake is grabbed out of the air by Barkley. 3 on 2. Whoa, bad pass. He had Bob Thornton clearly ahead of him down the other way and threw it to the wrong guy and threw it out of bounds.
Yeah, that situation did not call for a behind the backer.
Big near steal by Brooks on Neal. Still, it's a funny-looking offense here for Portland. They're taking time.
Stand around. Nobody really knows where to go.
Steve Johnson finally lays one home. 9-point Sixer lead.
They seem to be particularly ineffective when they have both Duckworth and Steve Johnson on the floor together. Both of them are low post operators. Now, it's true there are 2 low posts, but it's too crowded down there.
Thornton takes a wild one, and here come the Blazers with Neal ahead of the pack. And he delivers nicely to Duckworth, who is fouled. No, they're going to say he traveled with it. He was fouled, but I guess he traveled before he got hacked.
Well, the whole coaching staff of the Blazers stood up, and that's about half the building. They got a bunch on that call. They have one who's not here. Jack Shallow is doing a lot of college scouting. The more the merrier.
Gerald Henderson. Duckworth guards him. Sixers again using up a lot of clock, and Scott Brooks can't make it from three-point land.
Oh, gee. Walk.
There's Duckworth. He spins one in and out, and Thornton rebounded it, but Drexler punched it out of bounds.
Substitution, Ron Anderson returns, replacing Paul Thornton.
Sixers need a little help here for Scott Brooks. Gerald Henderson coming back down. Watch all this action.
Kind of a ugly fast break here. We had a collision at midcourt. Hersey finds Duckworth, who did not walk on the play. Welp trying to take another charge, but the Sixers come away.
Henderson has it blocked. Drexler has the open floor, and there he goes. Whoa, he missed the shot, however. Hersey throws it up, and he doesn't get it. That's been their story. Henderson the other way. Yeah. Now another timeout.
Philadelphia cannot relax. They've got to continue to play their game, come down the floor, still try to run, get good shots, get back on defense, and make the Blazers set up.
Craig Neal with the basketball. Steve Johnson is out there, along with Jerome Kersey, Kevin Duckworth, and Clyde Drexler. Nice pass to Drexler. Neal on a good feed finds Drexler.
Jeez.
Now they're going to call that foul on Neal.
Two shots. And the reason it's a two-shot foul is because the ball was not inbounded yet. A rookie error.
Personal fouls on Craig Neal. That's his first personal foul. Team second, since it is a big ball foul, it results in a two-shot foul on the other end.
Neal finally getting the message.
Sixers. Scott Brooks will shoot two.
A little too strong that time. Another one here for Scott Brooks. Looking for his first point of the game. Now he's got it. Wonder if anybody has ever had a poster given out and gone scoreless before in this league. At least he won't accomplish that.
Personal foul is on Hersey Hawkins. That's his second personal, team third.
But he's played well.
Yes, he has. And the Sixers have a 10-point lead. Christian Belp leans all over Duckworth, who had the good position.
Personal foul is on Chris Belp. His third personal, team fourth.
Chris got all out of whack defensively there, was halfway between playing behind, trying to get up top in front, and he wound up jumping on the back.
And try it again. Nope. Now they go back outside. Here's Drexler. He looks for a little room and spins it off the glass. Wow. He is having his problems shooting the ball, even from there.
Not even concentrate. He got into the basket so easily, but he just flipped it up nonchalantly.
Brooks looking for a little running room, and he is fouled.
Personal foul is on Jerome Kersey. His fifth personal foul.
Well, they call that one on Kersey. That would be a big blow to the Trailblazers. They lose him. He's probably been their most active player here in the second half. He's got 5 fouls now. Hawkins gets partial screen. Now Belp with it. He has it stripped away. Stolen back by Brooks. 4-on-1, and Barkley takes it home.
Scott Brooks again with the quick hands, able to steal that ball away.
And a breakaway here for Barkley.
Oh, a block.
Followed up. Charles hits the basket and knocks that about a foot off.
Yeah, they got to fix the basket.
Portland wants another timeout. Craig Neal brings it over the midcourt line. Neal, nice pass, and Duckworth slams it up. 15 for Duckworth.
Sixers will settle up and run a set play, take a little time off the clock, holding a 12-point lead.
Hawkins. And Charles Barkley gets a little bit of Duckworth reaching in for the rebound. That'll be a foul on Charles. He inadvertently got a hand on. No, they're going to give it to Ron Anderson. Foul on Anderson.
Looked like Duckworth got poked in the eye. He may be one of those big centers going to the goggles. Those big guys get a lot of fingers in the eye, which can't be any fun.
Adrian Branch has checked in. His first bit of action tonight. Young player out of the University of Maryland.
Played on the same Maryland team with Ben Coleman.
Barkley now with 21 rebounds. Hersey Hawkins, by the way, has matched his career high. He's got 28 points tonight. Got those 28 just the other night against the Lakers. Brooks, the open shooter. Anderson keeps it alive, and now it's off the end line. The clock, though, winding away. Sixers will hang on here to the ball. The clock ticking down. 2:38 left to go.
Again, set play and use some clock up. Try not to let the Pacers get any kind of momentum, although they seem to have packed this one in.
Yeah, they've never really tried to up-tempo their defense to try and get some turnovers and such. Drexler to Adrian Branch. Now that's typical. The first time you touch the ball in the game after sitting so long, he loses it.
That was a strange kind of substitution pattern last night without Porter and Drexler playing in the fourth period of a close game, and kind of a strange one tonight, which again makes me feel that Mike Schuler is trying to accomplish something by sending a message to his club that if they don't keep their mind and concentration into the game from beginning throughout the whole game, that they're not going to play. And they don't know when they're not going to play.
And here's a team that the owner, when he took over after spending the $7 million, kept spending some more and kept signing all his stars to long-term contracts. Now maybe there's a message there as well. Here's a little turnaround move by Johnson.
Well, one of his high-priced players, Kiki Vanderway, is taking his sweet time as far as getting back and playing. Good pass inside and the shove on Steve Johnson. As again, if you're going to let the guy lay it up, let him lay it up and don't give him the opportunity at the three-point play. Full court trap by the Blazers.
Well, they find Hersey Hawkins open to the Sixers and could have had a 2-on-1 there, but they elect to take it back out and use up more time. (110-102). Another basket here by the Sixers would really sink these guys. It comes by Barkley. 39 for him. 39 points, 21 rebounds.
Well, I thought he might need 40 tonight, or 40 or close to 50, but with the production from Hersey Hawkins, didn't quite need it from Charles.
Drexler fights his way for that one underneath. 112-104. 1 minute exactly now left to play. They're trying to double team Scotty Brooks. The open man is Chris Belp. There he is. Short. Barkley off the foot of Richard Anderson, and the Sixers will have 5 seconds here. Scott Brooks in midair. Gets his own rebound. That'll about do it.
Well, it's been typical of the game all night long. The Sixers just more aggressive, more active, wanting it that much more badly.
Anderson will have to shoot. The clock running away. Barkley just cleans up the rebound. There's the 40 you wanted. 41 to be exact. Chris Phelps still playing hard out there. Denies Adrian Branch and commits the foul with 14 seconds left.
Chris Phelps, that's his 5th personal. Team over the limit. Adrian Branch will shoot 2.
I don't think I'd want to go to the Portland practice tomorrow, wherever it is.
They're on the, I guess they're hitting a plane tomorrow morning.
Oh, they'll find a court. Even if it was in Mike Schuler's hotel room, they'll find something.
.114, 106. And you can put a ribbon on this baby. Not yet.
No.
Adrian Branch is going to foul.
No.
Scott Brooks with 1 second left.
He didn't do that, did he? With 1 second to go? Oh, boy.
Correction. 14 foul. 14 foul.
Got to get the referees in position.
There we go. Scott Brooks just airballs it. And the 76ers come away with, you would have to agree, would be a very impressive month of November, in which they did win 10 of 15 ball games. Continue to hover around first place in the Atlantic Division. Now we'll hit the road for a couple going into Charlotte tomorrow night and Indiana the night after.
So again, as you mentioned, Jim, 2 winnable games coming up on the road, but just because Charlotte is an expansion team and the Pacers have been struggling, you have to go in and really pick up your concentration level, especially at the defensive end when you go out and play on the road.